beautiful shining stars. So I want to share with you some crazy manifestations that occurred during one of our wealth classes modules. So in our wealth class that we did for 44 days, I expressed how to expand outwards your energy, which nobody really expresses when we're doing our visualization. So a lot of the times we think that visualization is just us kind of daydreaming, but when you're doing visualizations for manifestation, there's a way that you do it that expands outward your vibration and your energy, so you could be who you are right now, creating the outcome you desire for right now. I would notice, and in some of my daydream visualizations, I was younger, I was completely different, and I was like, that is not me. If you look at my May predictions, you'll understand why. We are living, sorry, I have the frequency really out loud. It's just to heal you, just to heal you. So when we are doing these different visualizations, sometimes we're tapping into different timelines. So in order to focus on this timeline, you want to expand out your energy and visualize in a certain way to manifest what you desire. So as I'm doing my visualization through a very meditative state, almost on theta level, because I would come in and out, and I was like, okay, what's going on? You know, so that's how you know that you're deep in the zone, right? Deep in the vortex, as Esther Hicks says. So as I'm doing this, my visualization, I am in my home, and then I'm expanding energy out, and my kitchen's becoming my dream kitchen, and my living area is becoming my dream living area. And then I'm in and there was a time that I'm in my kitchen, all of a sudden this woman shows up in my kitchen. Very bubbly, very sweet. I could detail you her features, everything. I knew about her husband, I knew about her children. Like, this was a genuinely person in that state. So I get chills talking about this. Like, this is so important, and this is the stuff that I share with you, and this is why those classes are so powerful, and why all of my clients are seeing crazy energy and vibrations in their life. So as I created this visionary person, right, this imaginary friend, I brought her into my now moment. So when I would cook in my kitchen, I would talk to her, and she had a name because she gave me her name, and I would talk to her. And it was a couple of times my husband would come in, he's like, who are you talking to? And I was like, this is so-and-so. Like, I introduced my husband, real life, to my imaginary visualized friend. And my husband's like, oh boy, she's done lost it. What happened to me is I used to resent cooking and cleaning and stuff like that because I'm so busy. I don't have time for all that mumble jumble. So what happened was that cooking and cleaning became very therapeutic. I look forward to doing the dishes. I know that sounds silly, but it was almost like therapeutic. As I'm doing the dishes, I'll put on a podcast, and me and my house assistant, we're listening to the podcast, we're sharing insights on the podcast. She's talking to me about her husband and what her children are doing. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, she's done lost her mind. But let me explain to you why this was so powerful. So this went on for a course of maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks. In that time frame, my daughter has completely cleaned up her room. It is a completely different room. She's still working on it. She's decluttering. She's giving stuff away. She's organizing. She bought a desk that she's using for her studies and for her own business. My husband took 4 days off and revamped the entire home. He organized all his section. He created more space for me. Mind you, I didn't tell him to do this. I didn't ask him to do this. This came all from him. He sat next to me and he said, I want to sit down, and so we could do the budget. I want to take away the burden of you feeling like you are too responsible for like writing the checks and doing that. I know sometimes that becomes too much for you. Let me take that away from you so you could focus more on the creativity. Something that I mean, I just can't talk about it too much because I might start crying. So give me a moment. So that was a lot. So it's like what I'm teaching you guys is so real because I'm witnessing it in such a level in my life that I'm just blown away. Blown away. I'm overwhelmed. So yeah. So I still have, of course, my imaginary friend, and even today, because the last couple of days I haven't been sleeping right because I've been having to get up to help my daughter because she's got projects, and we're like, I don't know if you saw a couple of my videos. We're doing some, she's doing some like cosplay and stuff like that for her events. And I love to tag on because I love to dress up and be, you know, myself. And tomorrow we're going to have an event and it's a lot of fun. And with all that being shared, I feel like I see the world going through so much, and then I look inward in my life, and I'm not gonna say I feel guilty, but there's moments that I'm like, oh my God, everybody's melting, and I feel good, and I feel radiant, and I feel great. And what it's doing is it's helping me be able to focus on the things that I desire and that I love. Okay. And something that Spirit has been showing me that I'm adding to the new class that I started actually in April, but since I was doing the 44-day class, I couldn't really put, you know, the energy, the modules, you know, the lessons to it. And everything happens for a reason. Everything is synchronized energy. So Spirit told me today, okay, Daisy, now you're ready to add the blueprint to the class, because not only do you have the experience of what you co-created, but you're able to now create the blueprints. Not only that, I added an extension to the 44-day class, and I'm still adding to it. So it's almost like the class is ongoing. So the people, my people, that bought the class for $55.55, which was our initial price, thank you. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first started, I had one participant and I was like freaking out, and then I had 2, and then I had 3, and then I had 6, and then it's 7, and it's just like, thank you. I appreciate it, you know. And you think 7 times 55, like that's nothing. That's not even my rent. But that's not it. It's the what we learned in this class, because my rent and everything else was paid by other sources. And that's what happens when we let go of the how. Because we could say, okay, I think if I do this, this is going to do this. And if I do this, it's going to do that. But then you allow God, the Almighty, the allness, the oneness, to create things in a better way for you, so you're not so overwhelmed. Because I think if I had maybe the initial 199 people that I wanted to have in the class, I might have been overwhelmed, because I was engaging personally with my participants through messaging. And if I would have had 200 people messaging me, I might have became very overwhelmed. So Spirit's got you. Spirit's got you. And you're probably like, oh my God, so like, how do you do this? And I'm going to teach you that in this it's a mini class, because it's just for manifesting. And you know, it's super funny because it's real magic, because you're seeing certain things, and you might hear this and you think, and that's why I call it imaginary friend, because she comes from my energy, my vibration that expanded her out. And I feel like what happened was, first of all, I have now more, when I do this, when I connect with her, I have more than enough time, because the whole thing of me having to cook and to clean and to do the things that you have to do, because you're not going to live in a pigsty, right? Was that I would take away the time that I would put into my content, into my work, into my books. I find that I have more than enough time to do all the things that I have to do, because by bringing her in, even though she is, you think she's ethereal, right? She's imaginary. What happened was I expanded that energy out, and I actually got the people in my house to clean up and declutter and organize. Even my son, that he is very quiet, he, you know, because he does, he's a gamer, and I mean, he has a job too, but he loves, that's like his hobby turned side gig. His room was a disaster, and he got inspired and started cleaning up and redecorating his walls and just doing certain things. So when you do this, you're not only doing this for yourself, you're also sharing this divine energy with the people around you. You're expanding that beautiful vibration to the people around you. Like, for me to witness my husband, who's always very in his own energy, like, I'm seeing that, you know, he's like, I'm gonna do this, we're gonna change this. And I just feel like such a sense of relief, because it's something that I've been complaining about for such a while. So I stopped complaining about it, and instead I created assistants. I created an executive team to take care of the things that I didn't no longer want to take care of. You do this, you do that. And what happened was, in real time, in real life, and my physical awareness, my physicality, real people in my life are taking away the things that I felt were overwhelming me, and are doing it so I don't have to worry about it. So it feels very genuine and very beautiful. And I feel like what happens is that we think that if we have this, where everything else is just, you know, it's going to take care of itself. But I find in my manifestation that when I actually pinpoint the things that I want to be taken care of now, the solutions come in and take care of that stuff. And then I could say, okay, this is done, let me go to my next. You know, it's like right now, my manifesting with the angels is almost complete. And then the journal is selling. Every day somebody goes and buys a journal, because it is such a great gift. You're spending, the journal was 25 bucks, but Amazon, synchronized all by itself, has the journal on sale for less than $10. So you are supporting me by purchasing the journal through Amazon, which pays me a royalty, right? And what you're receiving is this gift from the celestials that are working in your life, so you don't feel like you're alone. And that's what my imaginary friend is, you know, someone that when I go into clean up in the kitchen, and, you know, she helps me, and she's very sweet and very genuine, and she has conversations with me. And, you know, it also brings me back into like my childhood state when we had those friends. You know, I've always associated myself with the ethereals. I had a fairy friend when I was a little girl that I had forgotten about until I got older. And then I thought I made her up. So I asked one of my brothers that was always outside playing with me. And he's like, yeah, her name was so-and-so. And I'm like, okay, this is real. I didn't make this shit up. So it's just like a lot of things that happen to us through our lives that sometimes we forget, or we need to re-tap into. And I talk a lot about these patterns more in my May predictions. So take everything in your life, and really, I feel like with this transformational energy, it is for you to really focus on everything and organize it. Think of your life. You know how you plan your days. Today I gotta do this, today I gotta do that. Do the same thing, but for what you want. So instead of saying, I want $1 million fucking dollars, and with that $1 million fucking dollars, I'm gonna be okay, say, I wanna buy this home. And the home is, and then look for the home. You know, go online and download pictures of the home, and look at the furniture that you want to put in the home. And then, you know, do all of these things without focusing on, if I get the $1 million, then I can buy the home. If I get the $1 million, and no, let's look at the end game, which I've been sharing with you a long time. And of course I can't teach you all of this in one 30, 40, 1 hour video. You know, this is why those classes are so empowering, because not only you have the videos, but you have the printables, you have the workbooks, And they really, and then I have your interaction, because then I'll ask you through the different classes and modules certain questions, and it's for me to understand if you are lacking in some knowledge, or if we need to re-tap into this, if we need to learn more, if we need to express more. Do I need to bring it down a little more for you to comprehend? Because some of this stuff is not easy. When I hear people like, this is easy, all you gotta do is this, and I'm just like, no, it's fucking not. It's not fucking easy. If it was fucking easy, the whole world would be doing it. So it's not. So me doing this and seeing this, because that happened almost instantaneously. At first I only noticed little things, my daughter revamping her room, my son revamping his room, everybody going and throwing out the trash, like things that I was like, if I don't fucking throw out the trash, nobody throws out, like things that I would complain about. That once I created my house person, my house assistant, and she would throw out the trash with me, and she would go to the mail with me. And now sometimes I'll go in the kitchen and I'm going to go, get the mail. The trash has already been taken out. The mail is right there waiting for me. And it's just like little things. And I'm just like, I didn't ask anybody to do this. It all comes, because I feel like putting that vibration out there went into their ethereal, touched their mind, and said, go throw out the trash. Go do this for your mom. Go do this for your wife. Go do this for Daisy. And it's really cool. So now I'm in the point that I'm just like, I want more, I want more, I want more. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? So one of the things that they shared with me, which I shared with you in the May predictions, is they want me 7 days not to have contact with certain people that I have a lot of contact with, just to kind of be in my zone, be in my meditative state, especially that from May 1st to May 7th, there's a lot of manifesting energy that we're going through major eclipses. So it's a lot of things that are happening that you don't want certain characteristics and energies and vibrations in your life. And this is why I'm here creating all this content for you. So if you do see this, it's a very important time. And it's just about you thinking, okay, am I worth, because now the class is not 55-55, it's 155-55, because I already created all that content. You have almost 40 hours in videos. Can't even tell you the workbooks, the printables, meditations, audios. I mean, it's in depth. Like, you're like really, and the feedback that I get is like, a lot of them, my participants, I think the main thing is that they love that every day they had something different to look forward to do and co-create, and then witnessing all of this in their life, and leaving them wanting more, because they've seen so much that they're like, Daisy, I want more. Like, when is the next class? Like, when, and it's like, makes me feel super excited, because I'm like, yeah, not only am I seeing, because it's one thing, like, as a creator, hey, I did this and I manifested and look at me, da 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 da. And there's another thing that you create and your participants are like, holy shit, this works. This is amazing. So get ready to create real magic. And if you can't afford the $155 class, it's fine. I am also now adding PayPal Pay to the website, which I think that you could do installment plans. So that'll help you too. But you can start with the $22 one, which is the one that I'm doing right now, which you'll have the blueprint. And I feel like through that blueprint, you'll be able to manifest certain things that you want. Like for me, I'm going to be taking a course that's costing me $3,000 that's going to help me with my marketing and stuff, because that's somewhere that I don't have a lot of forte energy in. So it feels really good to be able to say, okay, this is the teacher that I want. She's worth it because she has all these reviews and testimonials and all of that. She's fucking awesome. I could fork over $3,000 because I know that I'm worth it, So when when I hear people say, Forbidden Knowledge was actually shared this the other day on his Instagram. Somebody says, oh, it should be free, da 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 da. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you say that? How do you say that all this work that we're doing, especially when you're like genuine and work hard and share, because forbidden knowledge is really good at his work. Billy, like if you want to see some real magic and some, he gets, I don't agree with everything. Some of the stuff is a little too much for me, but he goes into the pyramids and all that stuff. So if you say that you can't, there's one thing that you can't afford it because you're not at that stage right now. So you're going to be like, in order to make yourself good, or in order to feed your ego, you're going to be like, oh, that should be free. And it's another thing that's saying, this guy's fucking awesome. He's traveling the world, which costs him a lot of fucking money. And he's doing all this to share this with us. Seeing it as the light person, seeing it as the inner light is the good person, is the good beacon. And I feel like that's where you want to get to. You want to get to the place where you stop blaming everybody for your life's mishaps, and you start taking the reins and steering and controlling and guiding and creating. And if somebody comes in your path and says something, that is not in agreement with you, you're like, thank you, but no thank you. I send you love and blessings genuinely, and I'm gonna keep going because you really don't, So it's what we need to do. We need to let go of all this hate and all of this jealousy and this negative energy, all of this fear, especially now that they're sharing so much fear out there. Let all that go and start tapping into your truth. Because the truth is that your learning is perfect for you. And everybody needs to stop like trying to throw things down other people's throat. Because I also say a lot of people didn't sign up to my class because one, I wasn't ready for 200 people. And two, people were maybe not ready for my class. And I'm already seeing in the new class, which now it's triple from 55 to 155. I'm seeing more traffic. So everything has its reasons, right? And I feel like when we walk on that path, the path of allowing, the path of flow, and we stop trying to control and we start trying to, everything kind of like falls into place. And that's what I'm working on now. I'm working on allowing, I'm working on flow. I'm only working with the people that I want to work with. Just because somebody comes and wants to pay me $10,000 to work with me for 3 months, no. I'm only working with people because it might not be worth it if they're taking all of my energy or sabotaging my expansion. So now, and it's super funny because one of my clients said this, Daisy, you need to create a questionnaire, which is something I'm really now thinking about doing. So it's almost like, yeah, you're working with me, but I'm interviewing you to see if I'm able, see if my spiritual self could work with you. I hope this brought a lot of insights, and like I said, seeing this beautiful house assistant that is energetically working in my life feels really good. And you being able to think about it, if you had an energetic, ethereal person that would take a lot of the burdens that are causing friction in your life, who would that person be when you sit in your visualization? And like I said, I teach you this in the new blueprint, and you are going to absolutely, absolutely love it. I will link both the wealth class and the blueprint below. I send you lots of love and blessings, and I hope you catch this in this beautiful vibration of May. And if not, it's fine. It's for your perfect timing. And I send you blessings. Namaste.